the compass. You've been ignoring you. Know what nobody tells you about having a vision? That it's not some glittering Instagram worthy moment where everything clicks into place and suddenly you're living your best life. No, a vision is more like that friend who shows up at your door at 6 in the morning demanding you go for a run when all you want to do is stay under the covers. It's inconvenient. It's uncomfortable. And if you're honest, sometimes you're not even sure you like it. But here's the thing, without it, you're just wandering. And wandering is exhausting. I recently had the privilege of sitting down with Kimberly Moore. And let me tell you, this woman is doing the work of helping people stop wandering and start walking with intention. She's not just coaching people through career transitions or organizational shifts, she's guiding individuals and organizations through the kind of transformation that doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you are. She's the kind of person who sees potential in people before they see it in themselves. And she has dedicated her life to helping others align their actions with their deepest truths. In our conversation, three truths kept surfacing. Truths that I believe every one of us needs to hear, especially if you've been running on fumes, carrying everyone else's expectations, and forgetting what you actually wanted in the first place. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about aligning your decisions with your vision, about being adaptable and resilient when life throws you curveballs, and about the kind of continuous learning that doesn't feel like another item on your to do list, but feels like coming home to yourself. Because here's what I know, you didn't come this far just to keep surviving. You came this far to start thriving. And that starts with getting clear on where you're going and making sure every step you take is actually taking you there. Let me start with this. Aligning your decisions with your vision sounds simple, right? Almost too simple. But how many of us are actually doing it? How many of us have a vision? Maybe we wrote it down in a journal 5 years ago. Maybe we whispered it to ourselves in the mirror one morning, and then we went right back to living someone else's version of our life. I want you to think about Kimberly Vander Beek for a moment. She started her career as a business consultant in Israel. Strong professional foundation, solid skills, respect in her field. She had built something real, something tangible, something that made sense on paper. And then she met her husband, James, and her life shifted, not because she lost herself, but because her vision evolved. And here's what's important: she didn't abandon who she was, she didn't throw away her skills or her experience or pretend that chapter of her life didn't matter. She took all of that, every lesson, every connection, every ounce of expertise she had earned, and she pivoted into the entertainment industry, a completely different world, different rules, different players, different expectations, different everything. And you know what made that possible? She aligned every decision she made with the vision of who she was becoming, not who she used to be, not who people expected her to be, who she was becoming. That's the work. That's the real work. It's not about making one big decision and calling it a day. It's about making 100 small decisions every single day that either move you closer to your vision or pull you further away from it. And let me be clear, those small decisions matter. What you say yes to, what you say no to, who you spend your time with, how you spend your energy, where you invest your attention, all of it either aligns with your vision or it doesn't. And here's where it gets uncomfortable, because aligning your decisions with your vision means you're going to have to let some things go. You're going to have to release roles that no longer serve you. You're going to have to disappoint people who were counting on you to stay the same. You're going to have to look at the life you've built and ask yourself honestly, is this mine? Or is this what I thought I was supposed to want? That question will shake you, but it will also free you. Because once you start aligning your decisions with your vision, something shifts. You stop feeling pulled in a thousand directions. You stop saying yes out of obligation and start saying yes out of alignment. You stop living reactively and start living intentionally. And that is when your life starts to feel like it actually belongs to you. Now let's talk about adaptability and resilience. Because listen, having a vision is beautiful, but life doesn't care about your vision. Life is going to throw things at you that you didn't plan for: loss, rejection, failure, betrayal, burnout, the kind of stuff that makes you want to curl up in a ball and never try again. But here's what I learned from Kimberly Moore and from the work being done at the Green Room: resilience isn't about being unbreakable, it's about being flexible enough to bend without breaking. It's about being adaptable enough to pivot when the path you thought you were on suddenly disappears. The Green Room, led by a team with deep legal and strategic expertise, works with businesses going through transformational change. And one of the biggest challenges they face is resistance: resistance to change, resistance to letting go of the old way of doing things, resistance to aligning culture with vision. And you know what they've learned? That transformation doesn't happen in the absence of resistance, it happens in spite of it. They don't just come in and tell businesses what to do, they guide them through the messy middle. They help them see that the discomfort of change is not a sign that something's wrong, it's a sign that something's shifting. They help organizations foster a culture that supports transformation, not one that fights it. They help leaders align their strategy with their vision, even when it means making hard choices, even when it means letting go of what used to work. And the same is true for you: your transformation, your journey from survival mode to softness, from constantly doing to finally being. It's not going to happen because everything suddenly got easy. It's going to happen because you decided to be adaptable. You decided to be resilient. You decided that even when life knocked you down, you were going to get back up, dust yourself off, and keep moving toward your vision. And let me tell you something else: resilience doesn't mean you have to do it alone. It doesn't mean you have to keep wearing that superwoman cape, pretending you've got it all together when you're falling apart inside. Resilience means knowing when to ask for help, knowing when to rest, knowing when to say, I can't carry this anymore. And that's okay. Because here's the truth: you were never meant to carry it all, you were never meant to be strong all the time. Softness is not weakness, softness is strength that knows its limits. Softness is resilience that doesn't have to prove itself to anyone. And that brings me to the third truth: continuous learning and growth. Now, I know what you're thinking: learning, growth, I'm tired. I don't have time for another course, another book, another seminar. I get it, I really do. But here's what continuous learning actually means: it doesn't mean adding more to your plate, it means being willing to unlearn the things that are no longer serving you. It means being open to the idea that the version of you that got you here might not be the version of you that gets you there. Kimberly Van Der Beek didn't just wake up one day and magically know how to navigate the entertainment industry. She learned, she adapted, she grew. She took the skills she had and she refined them. She took the vision she had and she let it evolve. She didn't cling to who she used to be, she embraced who she was becoming. And that's what continuous learning looks like. It's not about perfection, it's about evolution. It's not about knowing everything, it's about being curious enough to keep asking questions. It's about being humble enough to admit you don't have all the answers. It's about being brave enough to try something new, even if you might fail. Because here's the thing about growth: it's uncomfortable, it's messy, it's not linear. You're going to take two steps forward and step back. You're going to have days where you feel like you're finally getting it, and then days where you feel like you're starting all over again. And that's okay. That's part of the process. The green room understands this. They don't expect businesses to transform overnight. They guide them through the process. They help them align their strategy with their vision. They help them foster a culture that supports transformation. They help them learn and grow and adapt in real time. And they do it with patience, with wisdom, with the understanding that real change takes time. And that's what you need to do for yourself. You need to give yourself permission to be a work in progress. You need to give yourself grace when you mess up. You need to give yourself space to learn and grow and evolve without judgment. You need to stop expecting yourself to have it all figured out and start embracing the fact that you're allowed to change your mind, to pivot, to try something new. Because the truth is, the version of you that you're becoming is going to require things from you that the old version of you didn't know how to do. And that's not a failure, that's growth, that's evolution, that's you becoming who you were always meant to be. So here's what I want you to take away from this. Here's what I want you to do after you finish listening to this. I want you to sit down wherever you are, and I want you to get honest with yourself. I want you to ask yourself, what is my vision? Not what I think it should be, not what my family wants it to be, not what looks good on paper. What is my vision for my life? And then I want you to look at your daily decisions. Look at how you're spending your time, your energy, your resources, and ask yourself, are these decisions aligned with my vision? Are they moving me closer to where I want to be, or are they keeping me stuck where I am? And if the answer is that you're stuck, I want you to give yourself permission to make a change, even a small one. Say no to something that's draining you. Say yes to something that lights you up. Take one step, just one, in the direction of your vision. And then I want you to embrace adaptability. I want you to stop expecting life to go according to plan because it won't. I want you to be flexible. I want you to be resilient. I want you to know that when things fall apart, it's not the end, it's just a redirection. And finally, I want you to commit to continuous learning and growth, not in a hustle harder, do more kind of way, but in a softer, gentler, more compassionate way. Be willing to unlearn, be willing to evolve, be willing to become the version of yourself that your vision requires. Because here's the truth: you are not behind, you are not too late, you are not broken. You are exactly where you need to be. And your vision, the one that's been whispering to you, the one you've been too afraid to fully claim, it's still there. It's still waiting for you. And the world needs you to step into it. Not the version of you that's exhausted and burnt out and barely holding it together. The version of you that's soft and strong and fully aligned with your purpose. So let your vision be your compass. Let adaptability be your superpower. Let continuous growth be your love language to yourself. And remember, you didn't come this far just to survive. You came this far to thrive. And your season of rest and softness and radical self love, it starts the moment you decide that your vision matters more than your fear. So here's my challenge to you: walk out of here, log off this podcast, close this app, and do one thing today that aligns with your vision. One thing, not 10, not a complete life overhaul, just one intentional, aligned, vision driven decision. Because that's how transformation begins. Not with a dramatic leap, but with a single courageous step. And then another, and then another, until one day you look up and realize you're not wandering anymore. You're walking with purpose, with intention, with a compass that finally feels like your own. So, what's it going to be? What's the one decision you're going to make today that honors your vision? What's the one thing you're going to release that's been weighing you down? What's the one step you're going to take toward the life you actually want to live? Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until you feel ready. Because here's the secret: you'll never feel ready. You just have to decide. Decide that you're done wandering. Decide that you're ready to walk with intention. Decide that every decision you make from this moment forward will be aligned with the life you actually want to live, because you deserve that. You deserve a life that feels like yours. You deserve a vision that excites you. You deserve to be soft and strong and whole and free. And it all starts with one decision, one aligned, intentional, vision driven decision. So go, make it, and watch how your life begins to shift. Watch how your vision becomes your compass. Watch how the life you've been dreaming of starts to become the life you're actually living. Because that's what happens when you stop wandering and start walking. That's what happens when you let your vision guide you. That's what happens when you decide that you're worth the life you've been too afraid to claim. So claim it today, right now, this moment. Let your vision be your compass and start walking.